I wanted to go over something really interesting I found in Valger's defense. Something that might be a viable counter to it. So, as you know, Valger's line is to push the knight up here, and then force a queen trade. Now as red, you move up here, looking to win a piece, if possible, after attacking blue's queen should it come out. This is something I went over in a previous video. But now, after blue does this, there's a really interesting move I found. It was played by Zarisol versus Gremu, and I thought that this variation had a lot of promise. So after green moves up, if it still moves up the pawn as it normally would, red does this move, allowing yellow to capture the pawn safely. So Gramu's line, he found this counter-attacking idea. I'm not quite sure what else blue can do in this circumstance. You have to take back the bishop, because let's say you do that, red just still takes anyway, and then check, and you still win the queen. And blue may be able to pick up some material, but red can find a nice nest, and the green king is exposed. So I don't really believe that that's a variation. I believe that you have to immediately recapture the bishop. Now, of course, follow through, red takes the pawn, and blue moves over here. Now as yellow, I believe you must move the pawn up here. The reason why is the idea for green is to support this queen with this bishop. And this bishop and this bishop are going to be the two main pieces that green uses to support blue in an assault against red. Now to follow through after this pawn moves up, green must move one pawn forward, because if two pawns forward, then yellow can find checks against green. So after moving one pawn forward, red is suddenly threatened with mate. Now, I don't believe that this is an idea that works out, because blue takes, yellow takes, red and yellow are thinking about a mate threat on green. But simply, after yellow takes, all green has to do is move over here, and then check with checkmate around the corner. So I don't really believe that you can just move the queen up. This is actually the move played by Zarisol in his game versus Gremu. I think it was a really nice idea to create a nest for the king over here. Now after blue moves in for a check, yellow takes the pawn. And green now wants to get this bishop involved. That's the idea. At least that's the only follow through I see with this attack. So after moving the pawn up one, red goes over here. Blue checks. Now yellow does some move. I think this is probably best. Moving the knight up. Another idea is to move in with the bishop. But after some move, green then moves over here. So after red defends with the queen, green's looking to check red. And let's say that blue, I don't know, Blue does not move the queen because it needs to support this bishop over here for its final assault. Let's say blue does that next. If yellow does something like this, something other than capture the bishop, green captures. And then blue moves down. And green is about to deliver checkmate. So now yellow must give up the queen. And then, yeah, this is not looking very good for red and yellow. We could even play it out. But pretty much, it's going to end up with equalish material. Yeah, this is not the variation you want as red and yellow. You lose your initiative, and you end up with equalish material in the end. So what you have to do is you have to take the bishop. Now after rook takes queen, then you have the check that you set up the previous move. And over here is yellow. You must be careful because green and blue are trying to win back that queen. So you set up a check. And after green takes back, you can't move the pawn up because then the queen is won. So what you must do in this circumstance is move the king over. And yes, the green bishop is looking to check the red king next. So after moving the king over, blue can perhaps force the yellow knight to move in with check, and green wants to do that, but first must deliver check. Now as red, you just put yourself into check in this variation. That's what you have to do. Because I have to take back, then yellow moves over here to keep blue busy. And if green delivers a check, then it's ready to just push the pawn up. And red and yellow remain a queen up. They lost some minor pieces, 2 bishops and a knight. So it's really a bishop and a knight for a queen, is what you're looking for in this variation. But nonetheless, I would take red and yellow in this variation. So I just wanted to share this idea with you guys and see what you thought. I think it's a promising attack, and I intend to use it in the future whenever I'm red and yellow and go up against Valger's defense. Alternatives to the pawn up may perhaps include a blocking off a diagonal before trying to set this up. But then you run into this, and it might have just been better to play icy stuns, queen pawn up, if that's the case. So as always, feel free to let me know if you think I missed anything, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.